You know what's interesting about tzitzis? You know, the tradition is we hold the tzitzis during the Shema. And the tradition is to hold them with the left hand, right? Why are we holding them with the left hand?
Closest to the heart.
Close to the heart, right? The heart's on the left side. So commentaries explain that the mitzvahs represented by tzitzis, tzitzis is the reminder for mitzvahs, it's something we need to take to our heart. It's something we remind ourselves that we want to connect with emotionally. Tzitzis is an interesting mitzvah. It's almost an anomaly because it's one of those mitzvahs that you're not technically obligated to do. You don't have an obligation to wear tzitzis. You have an obligation to wear tzitzis if your garment has four corners. You technically don't need to wear tzitzis. If you have a four-corner garment, you need to put tzitzis on it. So we go out of our way. We get a four-corner garment. We put tzitzis on it. Great. We're doing a mitzvah. But it's interesting because this mitzvah seems pretty fundamental. You have 613 mitzvahs, and one of them is to remind you of the other 612. That's pretty fundamental, right? Oh, but you don't have to do it. What? So I read recently of an insight from Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein was an incredible Rav and halachic authority who passed away in the 80s, I believe. 70s, I think the 80s. And he says, that's the message. We're reminding ourselves that I don't have to do mitzvahs, although I do. I get to do mitzvahs. It's something I take to my heart. It's something I want to do. The Talmud tells a fascinating story about tzitzis, the incredible power that tzitzis has in reminding us of the sacredness of our heritage. There was a yeshiva boy who got enticed by someone who was quite provocative and felt compelled to pay her a visit. Pun intended. He felt compelled to pay her a visit. His Yetzer Hara got the best of him. And apparently it was not a cheap visit either. And the Talmud describes this at length. When he goes to see her, the layers of rooms that he's going through and the drama that is built up, and as he's removing his clothing, about to sin, he sees his tzitzis. And you got to understand at this point how hard it's going to be to go back. Emotionally, physiologically, spiritually, the Yetzer Hara has got him. The Yetzer Hara has got him. Hook, line, and sinker, right? And he notices his tzitzis. And he just freezes. He goes, oh. He says, I'm out of here. This lady of ill rapport was almost offended. Like, what? Never gotten that before. What's going on?
Marry her later, though.
He ended up marrying her. Yeah. She said, but at this point she was offended. She goes, what's going on? Is there something? He says, it's not you, it's me, right? Classic. We got it from the Talmud. It's not you, it's me. I'm a Jew. I have sacred values. I was just reminded of them. I'm not giving that up for a moment of pleasure. She says, what's your name? Who are you? Where are you? He ends up leaving. She tracks him down. She finds out what yeshiva he's in. He goes back to yeshiva. Becomes a Baal Teshuvah. She comes back to yeshiva. She comes to the yeshiva. It says to the rabbi at the yeshiva, I'm looking for so-and-so. And why? I'd like to, she says, I want to convert. I want to convert to Judaism. He says, you can't convert for marriage. It doesn't work that way. This is what the Talmud says. You can't convert for marriage. It doesn't work that way. So she says, I'm not converting for marriage, I'm converting for truth. And she tells him the story, how she was inspired by this guy. She ended up converting, they ended up getting married. He ended up living with her. They're married now. The Talmud says something fascinating. The sheets that were about to be used for sin were now used for mitzvah. The incredible transformational power of teshuvah. But what sparked this incredible transformation? This transformation from the ultimate darkness, the ultimate klipa, the ultimate to something so beautiful and so sacred. What sparked that transformation? The tzitzis. Remembering the commandments. But more importantly, remembering the commander. Commandments remind us of the commander.